prawns have been peeled and cleaned, garlic, onion, pickled radish, pad thai paste, and then the noodles that have already been soaked and now they're draining. A couple of eggs, peanuts, tofu, which we'll dice up together, and that's pretty much it. With peanuts, garlic, and some water. So if you've got a wok, ideally, I don't, because you know, we've got a ceramic hob, so there's no need. So you want a nice wide pan, so you can get everything in there. So put this pan on to medium heat. So number 4, medium heat if you're on the gas, because we've got to cook our prawns, so about 50–60%, and then we'll take them out, and then we do everything else. So first thing we've got to do is we've got to chop our onion. So as always, you know, your fingers like a claw, and then just clean incisions all the way through the onion, as close to the end as possible, and then there, halfway through. Same on the other side. Doesn't need to be perfect. So don't worry too much. And then so even dice. If there's any questions, just raise your hand. Luce will let you in. Okay, and then garlic. I'm just going to quickly chop it rather than. So if you've got a grater, that's fine. I'll just chop this up. So I got this recipe from, let me explain it, from my daughter's auntie, who's actually from Thailand. So she sent me this recipe, and when she's been doing this years ago, and I've had it. It's absolutely amazing, and I've never had the recipe until now. So, you know, I feel quite fortunate that we can share that together, because for me it's one of the best things that I've eaten. Okay, we're just going to leave that to the side. Just check your pan. So it should be actually just turn it down a wee bit because we've still got a few things to chop. Tofu. So mine's is already a little rectangle. You don't want it to be too fine, so I'm just going to quarter that. And then even chunks. There you see. Nice little squares. Let me just leave that to the side. And then the radish, however way you've got it, if you've got a big massive chunk, I think it's about 30 grams. Again, you know, just finely slice it. Again, it doesn't need to be too fine. You just get some bursts of acidity through the dish. Okay, so we'll come back onto the spring onions at the end. So that's all we need to chop. A bit of olive oil in your frying pan. So as I said, we've got to just cook these half the way, take them out, and then start to cook everything else. And then we'll put these in near the finished dish, so they're not overcooked, rubbery. The last thing you want is, you know, some beautiful tiger prawns, like bullets. So just turn that back up a wee bit. Wash your hands. As soon as you've got all the ingredients to this dish, it's super quick to make. That's why it's best to have all your ingredients ready to go, so you're not faffing about later. You're just focusing on the cooking. Give that a bit of a ramp up in the heat. If you're doing chicken, you cut it a little bit smaller, and you want to take that a little bit further, maybe 80–90% cooked, before you would throw it back in at the end. Prawns, it doesn't take as long to cook. So turn them over. Don't add any salt because the seasoning in the pad thai sauce is quite salty. So in here you've got like palm sugar, tamarind, with some peanut paste in there as well, a little bit of lime. So just, I mean, if you're happy with your prawns, obviously if you've got smaller ones, it'll take less time to cook than this. And I'm just going to put them back into the dish at the very end, which is nice and clean. Okay, just take them back out the pan. And just leave them to the side. So a little bit more olive oil, not too much. And then we've got to put in the onions and the garlic. Try not to make too much mess. We'll just cook this probably 2 minutes. I'm using you know, big slice. So it's easier to move it around more. Not required. Okay, you see them starting to turn colour. If you've got a good view or not, I'm not sure. Okay, now at that stage, we've got to add our tofu and our chopped radish. Okay. We've just got to fry that probably 30 seconds, 1 minute. Just want to sweat them down till they're a little bit translucent. Yeah, I don't want any colour. We've got to continue frying. There's not a lot of moisture in here, so they've got to continue. When you don't, if you put too much colour on at the beginning, you just got to burn them. You got to end up with a burnt, bitter aftertaste by the time you've got the finished dish. And don't get me wrong, I'm not, you know, the Asian cooking is an art and a skill. It's different layer elements when you add your ingredients. So there is a skill to it, you know. So I mean, sometimes it's easier just to phone up the takeaway. Okay, so now at that stage I'm going to add the noodles. Okay. So, I mean, these will shrink down once we add the moisture. So, okay, so water, just going to add that in there. And this will just help with it breaking down the noodles. I don't know if you can see that. So you'll be able to see it's starting to cook, start to change colour. So just mix them around. We want to get rid of reduce the water, get rid of the water before we go on to the next stage. So just keep folding it. If it's easier to use a smaller spatula, that's down to you. Whatever's easiest. I mean, if you've got a wok, it's probably a lot easier as well. It's high-sided. So almost the water's gone, and then you can see that the noodles are almost done as well. I'm going to turn the heat up to about 5, because then we've got to fry our eggs in here as well. So the water's already gone. See, there's nothing else coming out of there. So what to do is just move that to the side. We've got to do our fried eggs. You can, if you've got the, just move the top end of the pan off of the heat and just have this, if you can see the hob ring, have this on heat only. And just make sure it's nice and clean. Okay. So you need a little bit of olive oil, just in that space there. And then crack your eggs in there. Just let them set. Just pushing that back. Hopefully you can see that nice and clear. Then just break them up. What you want to end up is like scrambled eggs. That's fully cooked. Obviously, if you're making a vegan version, so you don't put in the egg. So until that's fully cooked, you don't want any runny yolk or whites. Turn your heat down. Okay, so now at this stage, just mix that together. And then now you add the pad thai sauce in. Or if you're using the alternative ingredients, do the exact same. Okay, and then mix that. Operate that in there. It smells amazing. Now, if you've ever been to Thailand, this is a typical street food. It's, you know, one of the top, I think a few years ago it was voted the top 5 dishes in the world. So this is as close as you come to get it in this country, unless you've got a proper Thai restaurant. Okay. So there, once you've incorporated, put your prawns back in, and then they'll finish cooking. Got that juice in there as well. So I'm going to use my spatula now because I don't want to break up the noodles. I like keep them nice and long. But don't worry, you know, it's not the end of the world. If they break up a wee bit, you just keep folding it over. Get the prawns underneath the noodles so the heat continues to cook your prawns, and finish it off. What I've actually forgotten is the bean sprouts. So hopefully you've got bean sprouts. I've got bean sprouts. I'm just going to go and grab them. I'm not too far away, don't worry. So bean sprouts, they go in there now. Let that cook slowly. So you need to turn your heat down. You've done all the hard work, so now it's just, you know, letting all of this come together. That's where you need a nice non-stick pan, so it doesn't stick to the bottom. Okay, so just letting that sit like that. If you need to, just pull your pan to the side. So, yeah, again, they've already been prepared, washed. Nice and rustic, don't need to be too fine. You want that bit of texture in there as well. Keep an eye on your fingers. Texture in the dish. Okay, then you put them into your frying pan. I'll show you that in a minute. Nuts, you can crush these. I'm just going to roughly chop these. Again, it doesn't need to be too fine. Break them down. With that, the heat from the noodles in the pan, I'll just slowly cook the prawns. So you know it's not a bad thing. Okay. Nice wedge of lime. Okay. So you see all that in there. You just got to sprinkle the peanuts. Let's put it back over there. And then just a sprinkle of peanuts. That'll lime juice and that. And chili flakes again. If you like a lot of heat, it's obviously optional. Just got to put a little sprinkle because we get a friend she doesn't like too hot. I'll add a little bit more chilies once I've portioned it all out. And that's pretty much it. Very, very tasty. Simple when you see it like that. Before I made pad thai, I was like, it's too complicated. I'll just get it ordered in, and then when you do actually do it, it's so simple. And then when you're having it at home, it's always consistent. That's pretty much it.